Hi, my name is Mark Castell, and I'm a product manager with IBM for watsonx.governance.
Hi, my name is Christia, and I'm a technical sales specialist at IBM. So today we're going to talk about some of the new features coming to watsonx.governance on AWS.
So for those who don't know, watsonx governance is an end-to-end toolkit for the governance of AI, and it helps to manage risk and compliance across the entire AI lifecycle.
So Mark, can you tell us what are some of the personas for who are involved in the AI governance process?
Sure. So there's kind of three main groups of personas, and they are the business users, and they have the challenge of creating AI use cases to solve their business problems. They want to be able to document these use cases and including the requirements and the purpose, and be able to elicit approval from all of the relevant stakeholders across their organization, such as the AI ethics board, perhaps, or legal and regulatory, and others. The risk and compliance kind of group of personas have to be able to define processes for risk assessment of AI use cases, and then to be able to actually assess the risks associated with these models and use cases. And from a compliance perspective, they need to be able to capture regulatory requirements and obligations and assess the use cases against these obligations for applicable regulations that they need to comply with. The last kind of group of personas is the data science technical personas. These are the people who will be building the models and the prompts, and they have the need to track their AI projects and deployment spaces and use cases, and create documentation for their models and prompts. This tends to be a very lengthy process, by the way, if done manually. And they also need to understand the performance of their model and make sure that it's performing well.
So with all of these different types of personas, they probably have different goals, right? So how can watsonx.governance help each persona achieve their own goals?
Good question. So starting with the business users, the watsonx.governance comes with some out-of-the-box workflows that help to automate that use case capture and to elicit approval from all of the required stakeholders. And also, it comes with dashboards that are able to inform use case owners of the status of these use cases as they move through that kind of workflow that gets them towards approval. For the risk and compliance personas, we again have dashboards that help to surface all of the relevant information. Whether you're a risk analyst or a compliance professional, you can have kind of custom tailored dashboards that have the information you need readily available. There are out-of-the-box workflows for things like assessment or identification of risk, firstly, and then for the risks that are identified through the assessment, how to then actually being able to perform a self-assessment to kind of understand the level of risk. This helps to create a risk profile for the use cases and models. And from a compliance perspective, we ship with a scoping assessment for the EU AI Act that can help to determine if the AI use cases are in scope for the Act, and then also to determine kind of which risk level the use case falls into. And we're also working on regulatory content accelerators that will be available out of the box to help clients assess against the regulatory obligations for a select group of regulations. And lastly, for the data science technical persona, and this is kind of where most of the new features coming to watsonx governance as a service are going to be. We have capabilities around metadata capture that happens automatically during development time. As I mentioned, this is something that if done manually takes a very long time for the data scientists to do, and especially now with generative AI models, it's kind of becoming a more difficult task to actually understand what's going on inside the models. And this metadata capture is available for both machine learning and generative AI. We are adding capabilities around runtime evaluation and monitoring for AI deployments. And again, this applies to generative AI models where we can monitor for things like response quality, accuracy, context relevance, and model health. And in the case of predictive machine learning, where we can monitor for things such as drift, bias, and explainability. We're also adding capabilities around red teaming of foundation models. And the idea here is really to help organizations kind of understand how models compare from a risk perspective that will help them choose the best model for their organization to use that is in line with their risk appetite.
Are there any other capabilities supported for generative AI?
There are a few more. Yeah, we have some comparative evaluation capabilities for generative AI prompts. So an example of this might be, if you're trying to build a reg use case, you might want to try out a couple different prompts and see which ones perform better. So this tool, which is called Evaluation Studio, allows you to kind of select firstly which metrics you want to compare among the prompts, and then kind of in a tabular view see how they perform and allow you to select which one is working the best.
Got it. And then how does all of this work with Amazon SageMaker models?
So it works with SageMaker. This is the short answer. In fact, watsonx.governance is completely platform agnostic. So whatever data science platform you are using, we can govern the models on the platform. So you can have kind of a single platform where all of your AI, whether it's generative AI or predictive machine learning, can all be governed.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this with us, talking about watsonx.governance and the new features on AWS. We have some of these QR codes you can check out for the marketplace listing that's available on AWS Marketplace, as well as a blog around Amazon SageMaker and IBM watsonx.governance. So thank you, Mark, for coming in today and sharing with us, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.